Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're jumping into a topic that, well, it sits right at this really interesting intersection of, high-stakes science and just hard-nosed business reality.
It really does. We're looking at the life cycle of an idea inside the pharmaceutical industry.
And the picture our sources paint is, let's just say, a bit alarming.
Alarming might be the polite word for it. The research calls it the innovation paradox.
Okay, which is just a fancy way of saying that for an industry that's built on, bleeding-edge science, the actual process of making that science work day to day is surprisingly, well, inefficient.
That is it in a nutshell. We've got a stack of reports here analyzing this idea of ideas to excellence within something called Pharma 4.0. And the headline number, it's a hard pill to swallow. So a major pharma company might generate hundreds of new ideas a year. We're talking process improvements, digital upgrades, cost savers.
Right, the stuff from the brainstorming sessions, the whiteboard scribbles.
Exactly. But get this. Fewer than 15% of those ideas ever make it from a concept on that whiteboard to a scaled operational reality.
Wait, hold on. Say that again. Less than 15%.
Less than 1/5.
So you're telling me that, I don't know, if I'm a shareholder or even just a patient waiting for a drug to get cheaper, that 85% of potential improvements are just dying on the vine?
Essentially, yes. And we're not talking about spare change here. This gap represents billions of dollars in unrealized value. It's patient benefits that never happened because the idea just couldn't survive the what the sources call the corporate obstacle course.
Okay, that sets the stakes pretty high. So the mission for this deep dive is, I guess, twofold. First, why is that number so high? Why is the funnel so leaky?
Right.
And second, how does this idea of Pharma 4.0 supposedly fix it? Because honestly, when I hear Pharma 4.0, my brain just pictures a robot arm holding a test tube.
You and everyone else, and that's the big misconception we have to clear up right away. Pharma 4.0 isn't just about buying new tech. The sources define it as a convergence. So picture two circles. In one, you have your traditional, almost unsexy frameworks, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma.
The folks with the stopwatches and the clipboards trying to shave seconds off the line.
Exactly, the methodology. Now, in the other circle, you've got your Industry 4.0 tech, AI, IoT, the Internet of Things, digital twins.
Right.
Pharma 4.0 is where those two circles overlap. It's not replacing the old wisdom. It's using the new tech to do the old wisdom at a speed and, frankly, a depth that humans just can't.
So it's like Lean Six Sigma on steroids.
Or Lean Six Sigma with a brain. It's moving from being reactive to being predictive.
Before we get to the fix, though, I want to go back to that failure rate, that 85%. The source material talks about an attrition funnel. Can you walk us through the math of failure there?
It's a pretty brutal funnel. So let's imagine you start with, say, 100 promising ideas coming from everywhere, operators, scientists, you name it.
Okay, 100 ideas. Feeling optimistic.
Right. Step one is just the initial look. Out of those 100, only about 60 even survive that first cut, which, that's actually healthy.
Sure, not every idea is a good one.
But then you get to the pilot phase. Only 25 of those ideas will ever successfully complete a pilot program.
Wow, okay. So we're already down to a quarter before we've even really done anything.
And here's the really scary part. Less than 10 reach what they call sustained excellence.
Less than 10%.
Meaning less than 10% are actually implemented, scaled across the whole company, and are still running effectively a year later.
That feels incredibly low. Is it just that the ideas are bad?
No, and that's the tragedy. The sources are really clear on this. This is rarely an idea quality problem. It's a systemic organizational failure.
So what are the root causes?
Well, the first one is what they call ad hoc management.
Which means management by sticky note.
Pretty much. Ideas get lost in emails. They happen in a casual chat by the coffee machine. They live in some spreadsheet on someone's laptop. There's no central nervous system for innovation.
So a great idea can just evaporate.
It does. Then there's the problem of weak business cases. A lot of projects get going just because someone with clout shouts the loudest, not because of a solid financial analysis.
Ah, the classic pet project.
We've all seen it. And in pharma, this one is huge. Silos.
Oh, the silos are legendary.
They really are. You've got R&D, manufacturing, quality, IT, and they might as well be speaking different languages. R&D designs something that's beautiful in a tiny beaker, but it's a complete nightmare for manufacturing to make in a 5,000-liter tank.
So the idea dies because the departments are playing tug of war.
Precisely. And all of this leads to a phenomenon the sources call pilot purgatory.
Pilot purgatory. I love that phrase.
It sounds kind of funny, but it's a graveyard for good ideas.
Yeah.
You run a successful pilot, the tech works, the data is great, but it never, ever scales.
Right on.
Because it was built on, say, non-production servers, or they never even thought about how they'd roll it out to the other 10 manufacturing sites around the world, so it just sits there. A lonely success story.
Okay, so we have this funnel of failure. Bad communication, politics, pilots that go nowhere. The solution being proposed is LSS 4.0. I'm guessing LSS is Lean Six Sigma.
Correct. Lean Six Sigma 4.0.
We touched on this, but let's get really concrete. How does adding 4.0 actually change the day-to-day? Because, Six Sigma black belts take this stuff very seriously. Is AI making them obsolete?
Not obsolete, empowered. It's like giving them superpowers. Take Lean. Traditionally, Lean is about spotting waste. You do a Gemba walk. You literally walk the factory floor and watch.
Right, looking for bottlenecks, wasted motion.
But a human can only see what's visible. You can't see inside the machine. In LSS 4.0, you use IoT sensors to do that walk for you 24/7. The system sees things that are invisible, like micro stoppages or tiny energy leaks.
So the AI is the ultimate micromanager, but in a good way.
In a predictive way, yeah. And then you've got Six Sigma and the DMAIC framework. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control.
Right, the classic DMAIC. Can we make that real? Let's take an example like a tablet press. We're making aspirin. How does LSS 4.0 change the D and the M?
Great example. So in the old world, define is a meeting where a bunch of people guess what the problem is. In the new world, AI analyzes data from thousands of past batches, and it tells you, hey, your biggest problem isn't the press speed, it's the humidity variance in the mixing room.
It finds the real problem for you.
Right. And measure. That used to be a guy with a clipboard writing down numbers. Now, sensors are feeding real-time data to the cloud. You have a constant stream of truth.
Okay, so better data. What about analyze? This is the stats part.
Exactly. A human can look at 2 or 3 variables, but a chemical process might have 50 variables all interacting. Machine learning can find those complex relationships a human brain would just completely miss.
That's needle in a haystack stuff.
It is. Now, improve. This is where it gets really cool, and we'll get to digital twins, but you can basically test your fix virtually before you touch the real machine.
No more let's try this and see if it breaks.
And finally, control. This is about stopping things from sliding back to the old way. The automated system just monitors the process. If it starts to drift, it catches it instantly.
Self-healing manufacturing.
Pretty much. And the results are wild. The sources cite studies showing LSS 4.0 delivers 30 to 50% greater defect reduction and gets you there 40 to 60% faster.
Okay, that's compelling, but a methodology doesn't implement itself. The source material lays out a very specific 5-stage innovation framework. I think we need to walk through this roadmap.
This is the how-to guide, yeah. This is how you stop that attrition.
So stage 1 is ideation and discovery, 4 weeks. How is this different from just a suggestion box on the wall?
It's proactive. The key is using what they call frontline innovation portals. You're actively pulling ideas from the operators who actually do the work. But, and this is the important part, you're filtering them immediately for strategic alignment.
So it's not just, it'd be cool if we had better coffee. It's, does this idea actually help us hit our Q3 manufacturing goals?
Precisely. It connects the bottom-up creativity with the top-down strategy.
Which brings us to stage 2, evaluation and business case. 6 weeks. This sounds like the gatekeeper.
It is. This is where most ideas should die, frankly, if they aren't viable. You need rigorous financial analysis, NPV, ROI. You have to prove the value. But there's a new detail here I found really interesting, the TRISM framework.
That's a new one on me.
Trust, risk, and security management. It's specifically for AI. You can't just throw an algorithm at a pharma problem. You have to ask, is it secure? Is the data good? And crucially, is it explainable?
Explainable.
If an AI tells you to change a drug manufacturing process, you have to be able to explain to the FDA why it made that recommendation. You can't just say, the black box told me to do it.
Oh, that is a huge point. If you can't explain it, you can't validate it.
And if you can't validate it, you can't sell the drug. So this stage filters out those black box risks early.
Okay, that leads to stage 3, pilot and validation, 12 weeks. Goal is an MVP, a minimum viable product.
But an MVP in a real environment, not some lab. And this is where the game-changing tech comes in. Digital twins.
Okay, we've been teasing this. Let's dive in. Define a digital twin for me. simply?
It's a virtual replica of a physical thing, a machine, a process, even a whole factory. It's not just a 3D model. It's fed with real-time data, so it behaves exactly like the real thing.
So if I turn a virtual dial, the virtual machine reacts just like the real one would.
Exactly. And the sources have these incredible examples. One was from GSK for a vaccine adjuvant.
Right. Tell me about that.
It's a perfect example of escaping pilot purgatory. They used a digital twin with machine learning to basically simulate hundreds of test batches.
Instead of running them physically.
Right. Think of the waste. All those expensive ingredients, all that time. They could predict the quality outcomes without running a physical test for every single variable. The result, they got the medicine to the clinical trial phase much, much faster.
That's amazing. There was another one about bioreactors, too.
Yeah, these giant sensitive tanks where cells grow. Using something called CFD computational fluid dynamics, they created a twin of the bioreactor to simulate how the liquid moves inside.
So they could perfect the mixing without ever touching the real tank.
Exactly. It cut the need for physical experiments by 40%. And each one of those experiments cost tens of thousands of dollars.
So with these twins, you can do virtual commissioning. You find the flaws in the design before you even build the machine.
Yes, and reduce engineering time by 40 to 70%. It's a massive shift.
Okay, so you have a successful pilot. The twin works. Now comes the boss battle. Stage 4, scale and integration, 20 weeks. And the source says, this is the hardest hurdle. Why?
Because this is where the human element comes roaring back. Success at this stage is 70% about change management, not technology.
70%. That seems really high for a tech project.
Because it's not a tech project anymore. It's a people project. You can have the best AI in the world, but if the operators on the floor are afraid it's going to take their jobs or they just don't trust it, they won't use it.
Ah, the cultural resistance.
Yeah.
We've always done it this way.
That and fear. You have to show them this tool is a co-pilot, not a replacement. And then there's the technical side. You have to plug this cool new thing into all the old, boring systems, the MES, the LIMS, the ERP.
The unsexy reality of innovation.
It's the difference between a cool experiment and a real business transformation.
And finally, stage 5. Excellence and continuous improvement. This one is just ongoing.
The cycle never stops. It's about using PDCA plan, do, check, act, but at what they call machine speed.
What does that mean, machine speed?
Well, in the old days, check and act was maybe a quarterly review meeting. Here, the AI is perpetually scanning for optimizations. It doesn't wait for a meeting. It sees a problem, it analyzes it, it learns.
So the system actually gets smarter the longer it runs.
That's the idea. It's a constant feedback loop.
Okay, so if a company actually manages to do all this, what's the payoff? I mean, let's talk numbers. Is it worth the headache?
The numbers are massive. The research we saw indicates AI could generate something like $110 billion in value for the pharma industry annually.
110 billion.
Right.
With a B.
With a B. And operationally, you're looking at things like a 30% reduction in time to market, getting drugs to patients months, even years faster, a 40 to 60% improvement in first-time right deployment.
So things just work.
Right. And there's a shift in how you measure success. It's not just about lagging indicators like cost savings.
What's the difference?
Cost savings tells you what happened last quarter. It's the score at the end of the game. A leading indicator is something like user adoption rates. How many people logged into the new tool today?
Because if no one's logging in today, you're not going to see those savings next quarter.
Exactly. You track the health of the adoption to predict the financial success.
Okay, let's wrap up with the strategic imperative here. This sounds great, but it also sounds really hard and expensive. Is this just a nice to have?
No. The source material is very clear. This isn't a magic wand. It's a discipline, and it's no longer optional.
So if you're not doing this, you're falling behind.
You are. The competitors who master this ideas to excellence framework will be faster, their quality will be higher, and their patient outcomes will be better.
It sounds like it takes a lot of courage.
It does. It takes courage to kill bad ideas early, even if a powerful VP loves them. And it takes the stamina to push the good ideas through that really messy scaling phase.
And the courage to stop just playing with pilots.
That, for me, is the biggest takeaway. The technology is ready, AI is ready, digital twins are ready. The question is, does the organization have the discipline to stop doing what the sources call innovation theater?
Innovation theater.
You know, running cool pilots just to show them off at conferences, but never actually building a systematic engine for excellence.
That's a stinging phrase. But it's probably the reality check a lot of people need to hear.
It really is. If your best ideas are stuck in purgatory, it's not a tech problem. It's a process and a culture problem.
Well, on that provocative note, I think we have to leave it there. We hope this deep dive gave you a framework to maybe look at your own innovation pipeline and ask, is this actually going somewhere?
Or is it just another sticky note on a wall that's costing billions?
Exactly. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.